Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Williams. So soccer was the first sport that I was introduced to as a kid growing up. So it was the first sport that I played, first organized sport that I played. And while that may not seem shocking to you guys today, because there's a lot of kids playing soccer, back then, almost 50 years ago, okay, showing my age, almost 50 years ago, that was not the norm, okay? But it's been a love affair for me my whole life. Soccer's played an important role for me in my business life, in my professional life, in my social life. And we'll talk a little bit about that. This whole conversation's not about soccer, but it's an important part of my life. And because of that, and because of technology, okay, I love to watch English Premier League soccer, okay, and the whole English Premier League football program. And I say technology because growing up as a kid, I didn't have access to soccer on TV. Okay, the only soccer I was able to watch, it was tape delayed and it was one game a week and it was from Germany. Okay, today I can watch every game live from England on my smartphone. Okay, so from wherever I am, I can catch the game. And so I've really enjoyed watching English Premier League. I have a favorite team, Tottenham Hotspur. But what I really love about the English League, okay, is when you get the opportunity to see one of the lower teams in the division, okay, that perhaps isn't playing so well, and they're playing one of the top teams in the league at any given time, okay? And so when you watch these games, you know, it's the classic scenario of, you know, the underdog facing the league leaders. And as you watch the game, okay, and I'm a student of the game, so I enjoy watching the strategy as it unfolds. If that lower level team gets through the first 15 or 20 minutes, okay, something amazing starts to happen. They start to build confidence, and you can see it, and you can hear the announcers talk about it. They say, you know, last week this team played and they couldn't string 2 or 3 passes together. This week they're playing the top team in the league, and they're playing with such confidence, okay? So it's amazing to watch. And so as I thought about today, and talking with you, I thought about confidence and how important that's been to my life, both professionally and personally, and how important it's been. And so I thought that that would be a good theme for us to touch on today. There we go. A good theme to talk about. It's not going to be the total topic, but I'll touch on the word confidence because I use it a lot in my business world, and I use it a lot personally, okay? And I apologize, I'm going to turn around and show you my back from time to time because I'm going to look at the slides here. These slides are not for you, by the way. They're for me, okay, to keep me on track, because otherwise I'd be talking about the English Premier League and the FA Cup, which I want to touch on in a second, because the FA Cup is a league, a tournament that goes on throughout the season, and it's classic. It gives the opportunity for lower level teams to play against those top teams. Okay, and there was a great example 2 weeks ago. Arsenal played Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest is in the lower division. Okay, a division down from the Premier League. It's like, think about the Lancaster Barnstormers playing the New York Yankees for a tournament, okay? In the FA Cup, which is one of the oldest tournaments going on in all of sport, it started in 1871. In any given year, there's about 700 teams that participate. Only 90 of them or so are professional teams, okay? And so 2 weeks ago, Arsenal, 5th in the table, they spend about $250 million in salary for all of their players. They're playing Nottingham Forest, who spends just over $30 million on their players. Okay, and it was a classic example. This lower division team fighting for their life. Okay, have nothing to lose. They're expected not to win. Okay, they ended up winning the game 4-2. And as you watch the game and you, again, listen to the announcers, you could see it unfold that they played with tremendous confidence. Okay, it was also fun to watch because the first 2 goals in that game for Nottingham Forest were scored by an American, okay, on English soil, which is always great to see. Okay, so again, this concept of confidence, okay, is going to be throughout this theme throughout my talk this morning. So we're going to talk about confidence, try to define it a little bit, and then the bulk of my conversation is going to be about my professional life, how confidence has played an important role, touch on my personal life as well. I'll share a story with you from my sophomore year here at E-Town, and then we'll finish off with a couple of examples, other examples of where I've witnessed confidence, and share that with you, and then we'll be done. My hope for you today is that you walk away with one thing, okay? Doesn't need to be 10 things, just one thing that's hopefully of value to you. Perhaps it's an idea, perhaps it's a thought, perhaps it's a different perspective that you bring with you and perhaps utilized tomorrow, the next day, or maybe 10 years from now, okay? It just needs to be one thing, and then hopefully my conversation here today has been successful. And then maybe, just maybe, you walk away and a future challenge that you have, perhaps after today's discussion, you approach it with a little bit more confidence, okay? Because that can be a differentiator for you. So what is confidence? Go to Google or any search engine, you know, it's a feeling or belief one can rely on, someone or something, firm trust. It's a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of your own abilities or qualities, okay? It's a belief in one's ability to succeed, okay? These are definitions that you find in the dictionary or on Google, okay? But I underlined the key words, feeling and belief, okay? Our beliefs are different, okay? So what confidence means to you is different for me, okay? And that's okay, all right? Sometimes confidence, you might hear it as, you know, what's your gut feeling, okay? What do you feel? Or if you're dealing with somebody or dealing with a situation, need to make a decision, you've got all kinds of facts and figures, okay? But what's the driver? What's your gut feeling? What's your confidence in that decision, okay? So you may hear it called a couple of different things, okay? But it's really a feeling that you have, okay? And where do you get it, okay? Where do you get confidence from, okay? I can't tell you where you're going to get confidence from. I can only tell you where, over my life, I've built some areas of confidence for myself, things that I'm good at. There's a reason I started today's conversation with soccer, okay? It's something I've done my whole life. It's something I like to do. It's something I'm pretty good at. I still play today quite a bit. I still learn from it, okay? I take the lessons that I learn on the soccer field and the lessons I learn as being part of a team, whether I'm leading a team or just a member of that team. I take those lessons and I use them, and it builds confidence, okay? I take that confidence and I take it to work every day. I take it to my relationships in my family in dealing with situations, okay? So think about things that you're good at, things that you like to do, okay? And keep doing them, okay? Also, simple tasks, okay? We're going to talk at the end here. I'm going to share a book I've read recently that talks about simple tasks, okay? It's an opportunity for you to build your confidence. They may seem, as you go out into the work world after you leave here, okay, you may be asked to do some things that will seem simple to you, okay? You just spent 4 years here, spent a whole boatload of money on a degree, and you go into your first job and they're asking you to do some things that you think might be trivial or menial, okay? Don't shy away from those things, okay? Do them well. Become an expert in them, okay? Build your confidence with those tasks, okay? And build from there and move on to more tasks, okay? And what you'll find after a while, it goes hand in hand with confidence, is momentum, okay? Those of you in physics, and I I'm not in physics at all, but I do know the power of momentum. Okay? If you can build your confidence and continue with different things, you will build momentum. And that's a powerful tool for you, okay, in whatever you do. Okay? I also look for opportunities to build confidence in projects or things that I don't like to do. What I do in those situations is I try to partner with other people who are good at the things that I'm not good at, or they like to do the things I don't like to do. So I partner with them, okay? And two things happen. I learn more, okay, because I partner with somebody who's an expert or really likes to do those things, okay? And I get a little better at it, and that builds my confidence, okay? So look for those kinds of things as you approach whatever it is you do, again, whether it's professionally or personally. Let me talk a little bit about what I do today, okay? And let me start off with what I do at Voya. What's your name?
Harry.
Harry? Have you ask me a question? And the question I'd like you to ask me is, Doug, what do you do for a living?
Doug, what do you do for a living?
Glad you asked. I work for a company called Voya Financial. We sell 401k plans, 457 plans, 403b plans. We do plan administration. We do compliance. We do investment management. And we also sell insurance programs, voluntary insurance programs, accident insurance, and stop-loss insurance for employers. Okay. What's your name? Kevin, could you ask me the same question?
Doug, what do you do for a living?
I'm so glad you asked. I love what I do, okay? I help people save for the future. I work for this company, Voya Financial, and we provide tools, education, and support for individuals so they can save and protect their money for a secure financial future, okay? Which one do you like better? Okay? Probably the second one, okay? What sounds more confident, okay? The second one, okay? Who do you want to do business with, okay? If you're an employer and you're shopping for employee benefits, do you want to work with the guy who sells 401k plans? Or do you want to work with the guy that loves what he does and he loves to help people save for the future, okay? That's an example of confidence. It's an example of perhaps building your own brand, okay? As you think about answering that question, what do you do, okay? Does Voya define me, or does what I do for Voya define me? It's what I do. I love to do that. I love to educate people and help them save for the future, okay? And that's what my company does, okay? Voya Financial. Perhaps you've seen some of the commercials that we've had on TV. We use rabbits and squirrels. We use orange money versus green money. Okay? If you go online and type in Orange Aid and Voya, you'll pull up a couple of vignettes on YouTube of a little girl. She's 11 years old. We taught her some financial terms. And we had her open up an Orange Aid stand, and she sells Orange Aid to people who walk by. We hid some cameras, and it's really interesting to see the reaction as people walk by and buy Orange Aid from her, that she starts explaining, well, why is she here in the middle of the park selling Orange Aid? Well, she's trying to save money for retirement, this 11-year-old, okay? And her dad told her that he'd match $1 for every $10 that she made, okay? And then she starts talking about IRAs and Roth IRAs and all this other stuff, and the people are amazed, okay? Why do I bring all of that up? Why do I bring up rabbits and squirrels and orange money versus green money? It's part of our approach to help educate and change the way people think about saving for the future, okay? You'd be perhaps surprised to know that many people that we talk with have no money saved for retirement, or very little, okay? And it's a shame that I talk with thousands of employees, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second, but I talk with thousands of employees who tell me, and they're in their 40s and 50s, and they tell me, I wish I started earlier, okay? So if you get nothing from today's conversation, please take this one piece of advice with you. Start saving early, okay? As you leave here, and you don't have to wait when you leave college and start working for out there in the world, your employers are probably going to provide you with the opportunity to save money for retirement. I strongly encourage you to start as soon as you possibly can to take advantage of that wonderful employee benefit when you get it, okay? And it doesn't have to be a lot. Saving is a habit, okay? Get into that habit. It's a good habit to have. Even whatever the minimum is that you're able to put away, do it, okay? And so perhaps 20 or 30 years from now, you'll be at a cocktail party talking with your friends, and you'll be talking about money you're saving and plans for retirement, and you'll remember this conversation that some former alumni said to start saving money, and I did, and you'll have a nice nest egg later on, okay? So, but that's what Voya Financial does. We do sell 401k plans, 457 plans, 403b plans. Those are tax codes, okay? So the IRS allows companies to offer employee benefits to their employees and allows them to save money for retirement on a tax-advantaged basis. What does that mean? Let me back up a second. Let me talk first about what employee benefits are. Why does an employer provide benefits to their employees? Okay, there's a lot of reasons, but two of the main reasons are they want to attract and retain quality employees. So they offer health benefits and a number of other benefits, as well as the opportunity to save for retirement. Okay, that may be, those benefits might be the differentiator that employer has to select top talent, okay? You guys might be looking at the same company or same industry for jobs, okay? They may offer the same salary opportunities. They may offer the same growth opportunities in terms of that business and that industry, but their differentiator for you might be the benefits that they offer for you to save and other health benefits, okay? So that's why employers offer employee benefits. So retirement plans are employee benefits. So I mentioned 401ks, I mentioned 457 and 403bs. 401k plans are for corporate employers, okay? 457 plans are typically for government employers, and 403bs are typically for educational institutions, okay? They're all the same idea, just different tax codes, different nuances, okay? So if you worked for Elizabethtown College and you were a professor here, you would have the opportunity to save money through a 403b. It's an opportunity for you to supplement your savings, okay, on a pre-tax basis. And what that means is it reduces your tax liability in any given year, okay? And it allows your money to grow on a tax-deferred basis, okay, for the future, okay? So that when you do start to use it, okay, it comes out and hopefully you're in a lower tax bracket, okay? So those are the technical aspects of what we offer, but our approach, as I opened up with, is we're really, at the end of the day, trying to help people save for the future. And so one of the plans that I work on for Voya Financial, my largest client, is the state of Delaware. And for the last year and a half, I have spoken to thousands of employees throughout the state of Delaware. And the word confidence has come out several times in every conversation that I have with employees throughout the state, okay? Because what I want to do is I want to educate them on the benefit that they have, that the state's offered them to be able to save for the future. That's great. I want to make it simple so that they engage and are not afraid of saving for the future. But most importantly, I want them to have confidence in the savings plan that they put together, okay? Because if they don't have confidence in their plan, all right, A, they're probably not going to reach their goal, which means they're probably not going to even start. And B, they're going to be able to deal with the fluctuations in the market, okay? If you follow the stock market today, things are wonderful. Everybody's happy. The market keeps going up. They look at their 401k accounts, they look at their investment accounts, and everything's pointing up. It's all wonderful, okay? That's not going to last, okay? We're going to have fluctuation. That's what happens in the market. We just don't know when, okay? And the last downturn we had, the folks that got hurt the most were the ones who were not confident in their savings plan and were not engaged in why and what they were saving in. And so they made a rash decision for whatever savings they had when the market tanked, and they bailed out, and many of them, unfortunately, never got back in, okay? So our role today is to educate and give employees confidence in their savings plan so that when, not if, market fluctuates, and it's not just the market, by the way, it's if there's something, your life circumstances have ups and downs, okay? You may have a death in the family, okay? You may have someone in your family who's sick and you've got to incur expenses, okay? It doesn't have to be the market, okay? It could be personal circumstances. But if you're not confident in your plan, you're going to make a rash decision or you're not going to be prepared for it, okay? So a lot of what I do on a regular basis is help individuals have confidence in their savings plan, okay? I'm going to shift to MetLife because I've only been working for Voya for about 2.5 years. I spent a fair majority of my career, over 20 years, with the company MetLife, okay? And I want to talk about two aspects of what I've done at Met. In my role there over 20 years, I managed a variety of teams. I managed sales teams, I managed compliance and marketing teams, an operation team at one point. So I've managed a variety of folks over that time. And one of the constant themes of managing folks is providing them with confidence, okay? I look at confidence as almost synonymous with culture, okay? And if you know what culture is, okay, one definition of culture is, being able to do things when leadership is not present, okay? I needed my teams to have confidence to take action, okay? Because I often told them, I'm not going to be here every day, okay? I may not be here when you need to make an important decision for us to move forward, okay? And so they may have the technical knowledge, but do they have the confidence to take action, okay? So I spent a lot of time with my teams, working with individuals, working as a group, and giving them the knowledge, and the flexibility to be confident in making decisions, okay? That's an important role for a leader and those of you that manage people, okay? It's one of the constants that you're going to need from your teams. Are they confident and able to make decisions on their own, okay? Because you're not going to be there. You don't want to be there. I'd often tell them, listen, if you have to come to me for every decision you make, why do I need you, okay? So I needed them to be confident in making decisions. The other example I want to bring up, it actually happened 20 years ago. I built a new team within the organization, and at that time, it was around 96, MetLife was in the news quite a bit, and for not such a good reason. We had some compliance issues and some marketing issues that were not very favorable, and so we were trying to work our way out of that. So I was asked to build a unit. It's called the Sales Material Review Unit. It was a marketing team to review all of our advertising material throughout the entire company, okay, before it went out. Okay, because we had some associates who sent out materials to the public, and why is that important? In the financial services industry and in the insurance industry, our communications with the public are highly regulated. Okay, we don't want to send out information or share information that's misleading to people, so that they make uninformed or decisions based on incorrect information. So we had to build a team to corral all of our advertising material, and it was a big project. And during this time, we were in the middle of it's called a quinquennial review. It's an audit, basically. And at the time, MetLife was domiciled in New York, and so the New York State Insurance Department came in and did their audit of our advertising material and processes. Okay. And I received a call one day from our Vice President of Government Industry Relations and said, "Doug, we're going to get fined because our advertising material and our process is, quite frankly, a nightmare, and the audit is not going well. And can you come to the home office and do a presentation to the New York State Insurance Department auditors and explain to them what we're doing going forward prospectively, okay, to fix this problem?" And at the time, I was in the middle of working with our programmers. We were building a web-based, at the time, it was kind of brand new, process, as well as managing a team of folks that were working with associates throughout the entire company. And so I bring this up because I did the presentation, and I was able to do the presentation because I got involved in a lot of what I'll call the nitty-gritty of the programming and the processes of our business. I was on the phone almost daily with our programmers building this process out. And I'm not a programmer, I'm not an IT or tech person, but it was important for me to understand the process that we were building so that I could articulate it. Okay, and I was able to articulate it, and I was able to articulate it with great confidence to the insurance department auditors. Okay, and as a result of that, I received a commendation from our government and industry relations, and I won't read you the note, but I refer to it often. When I'm feeling down and wondering, am I doing the right thing? And I read this note that, Doug's presentation was A+, and his confidence, okay, and his knowledge of the subject and his ability to answer the auditor's questions averted us from an embarrassing situation. And the embarrassing situation would have been hundreds of thousands of dollars of fines for our advertising process. So I bring that up because I got involved in the details. Okay? When you're out there, sometimes you'll work with people who are very detail-oriented, and you'll work with others who don't want to deal with any of the details. Okay? I encourage you to get into the details. How you use them is going to be the issue. Okay? You can sometimes drown your audience in details and you'll lose them. Okay? But if you don't have those details, you'll never know. Okay? When to use them is really the key. So that's the reason why I brought that up. Okay? My family life is, and I talk all the time about my kids. You heard in my bio some of the activities of my kids. I draw a lot of strength and a lot of confidence from our kids. My youngest, my twins, who are in their third year, my son, one twin, decided to take study abroad to the next level, and when he was a senior in high school, decided to apply to Kingston University in southwest London, and he's in his third year and he'll be graduating this year. Interesting, he did all of this himself. The high school that he was at had no idea this could even happen, but he had the confidence in his ability to move forward. And what was wild was when he went over there his freshman year, we sent him on a plane. I didn't go with him. He's over there by himself. And unfortunately, there was a problem with his visa, and he was allowed into the country. Fortunately, the university put him up in a place to stay, but he couldn't register for classes because he couldn't open up a bank account. He couldn't do anything because his visa was screwed up. And it remained that way for about 3 weeks. And there was nothing I could do. He had to deal with it all himself. And fortunately, it worked out successfully, and I think he learned a good lesson. But he took that challenge on himself, and I'm constantly amazed at the things he's doing over there. He's immersed himself in the culture in London, and it's been a great experience. His twin sister goes to Washington College, and I can talk all day about her. Last semester, she was in South Africa and visited 3 or 4 different countries nearby, and she ultimately wants to save the world. She wants to work for a nonprofit organization, and she's got an amazing story. But between her freshman and sophomore year, she spent 5 weeks in Indonesia teaching English in a girls' school. And she did that all herself, and she raised the money through scholarships, and she didn't have to spend a dime. It cost $10,000 for her to go over there and do that. She had to pay for her living expenses, her travel, and everything else, and she funded the whole thing through various scholarships that he applied for. And so I'm amazed at her abilities to do those things. Still struggling with her to balance a checkbook, but she can travel the world. And my oldest daughter, as you heard, is on her way to Australia, University of Melbourne, and she's been accepted into the doctor program of veterinary science. And when I'm feeling less confident in what I'm doing, or if I'm down on any particular day, and I carry this with me, this is a source of confidence for me. This is a note that she gave me when she graduated college. Daddy, thank you for everything. College, my graduation weekend, driving out to Kentucky, helping with my dresser, and all the little things in between. I've looked to you as long as I can remember, but these past 4 years have been an example of a successful professional, friend, and teammate. I owe my accomplishments to you. You've pushed me to think outside the box and go for my goals. Thank you. I can't wait to see what my future has in store, and I hope I make you proud. These are the things that you go to school for, and God willing, you leave here, you get a job, you make money, you raise a family. This is what you work for, okay? That's why I carry this with me every day, all right? This is a source of confidence for me. I talked about it earlier. What are the different sources? This is one of them, okay? I encourage you to find yours as you go through life. So it's my sophomore year, about the same age as you, and it's my spring semester. It's spring break, as a matter of fact, and it was the first trip. Those of you that play for Skip here, it was Skip's first year, believe it or not, here at E-Town. And that first year, we took a trip to Ireland during our spring break. And I remember it like it was yesterday. We played 4 games over there, and I was in one particular game against UCD, the University City of Dublin, and they had a very good team. They were tough, one of the tougher teams we played over there. And in the midst of the game, I was extremely frustrated. and because I was getting beat. And this one particular guy, I played midfield, he was beating me to the ball every time. He was knocking me off the ball, and I got frustrated, and I took myself out of the game. And I remember it like yesterday. Skip pulled me off to the side and said, "Don't ever take yourself out of the game." Okay? I don't remember if I got back in. I'm sure I did. Okay? But I've remembered those words, okay, for my entire life. Okay? Don't ever take yourself out of the game. Don't ever quit. Okay? Is what I heard from that message. Okay? It's a lesson I learned early on here at E-Town, and something that has stuck with me. So I share those words with you as you look to the future. Lastly, a couple of books that I've read recently that I'll share with you. The first one, Make Your Bed. This is it's a short read. It's by Admiral McRaven, a very decorated admiral and SEAL. I believe he's retired now. But if you don't get the book, do yourself a favor and go on YouTube and search Make Your Bed and look for Admiral McRaven. It's about a 15-minute YouTube video, and it's probably the greatest graduation speech you will ever hear. Okay? And he talks about his time during his SEAL training, and the first of 10 things that he brings up is make your bed. All right? It goes back to that concept that I was talking about before around confidence, doing things that are simple. Okay? Making your bed is something that's very simple, and I won't take away from it because I can't do justice to his explanation. But it's a source of confidence. Okay, I often actually, when I'm driving, I'm not watching the video, of course, while I'm driving, but I listen to it and read the book often to keep reminding me of some of those simple lessons. Okay, but I encourage you to read that. Born to Run, you don't have to be a Bruce Springsteen fan, but his latest book is great, and I didn't read that one. I listened to it on Audible because it's great because he does the narration of it. But it's an interesting perspective when you listen to it. It's not filled with music. It's actually, you're hearing Bruce talk about his days of building his band, okay? And the leadership issues that he had to face. And as you listen to it, you can hear the confidence that he had as a musician, okay, come out. The challenge he had was the leadership piece of leading his band and the decisions you have to make in leading an organization like that. You've got to replace band members from time to time. They're not on board with the philosophy or the culture of where they're going, okay? And you can hear that throughout. It's a very different, you may not think of, Bruce Springsteen as a leadership book, okay? But it's a fascinating perspective, and it's even better if you're a fan. Hero of the Empire. This is more of a history book. It's the history of the world, and it's an interesting perspective. It's a different perspective on the history of the world. I listened to this one as well. It's a long one, so bear with it. But as you listen to it and you hear about different leaders throughout history and the struggles that they had and the confidence they had, you can hear it come out throughout. So pretty neat. Oh, sorry. I was talking about Silk Roads. That's the one that's the history of the world. Hero of the Empire is about Winston Churchill. And it's his early days during the Boer Wars before he was Prime Minister. And it's fascinating because it goes into detail of his time during the war. He was a correspondent, and you can see the beginnings of how he became a great leader and some of the experiences that he had during that time and the confidence that he built, that he was able to leverage later on in life. Okay? And I'm going to leave you with two other thoughts. One, you heard me talk about soccer quite a bit. I started with it. It's been a big part of my life. If any of you have seen this movie, it's probably the guys in the room. It's probably not a movie you'd probably gravitate to, but it's called August Rush. Okay, and I like it because I like the music in it. And it's a neat little story about a kid who's trying to find his parents, and he's gifted with music. And there's a scene towards the end where he's in the park and he's playing guitar, and this man comes up who happens to be his father, but he doesn't know it. And they have this conversation, and the father asks, the kid who's 11 years old says, yeah, well, I'm supposed to be playing in a concert tonight with the New York Philharmonic, but I can't go. And the father goes, well, why can't you go? And he says, well, something bad will happen. And the father says, well, if I was doing a concert in the park, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Don't ever give up on your music, okay? And it's an important theme, and whatever your music is, for me, soccer is my music, okay? It's something I've never given up. I've been playing since I was a little kid. I play today. I watch it. I love the sport. It's something we spend a lot of time with, and I learn from. It's my music. It's when I've had situations that have been difficult in my life, okay, and I've had several, both professionally and personally, soccer has been my outlet, okay? When I've had success in my life and things have been going really well, soccer has been my gauge to keep me balanced and not to go too high, okay? It's kept me grounded, okay? Find your music and whatever that is, and don't stop. Okay, I talk to a lot of people, who don't play soccer anymore, or don't do this, or don't do that. They don't have the time, or the kids are in the way, or I got to do that. Don't give that up. Find out what it is, okay, and keep doing it the rest of your life. You'll find that it will help you both for the highs and for the lows. And the last piece is, when I was at MetLife, I had the opportunity to attend a meeting with our chairman. And at the meeting, somebody had asked the chairman, what keeps you up at night? Okay, it's a really good question for somebody who's leading a Fortune 100 company. What keeps you up at night? And his answer was profound as far as I'm concerned. I've remembered it for a long time. It was, I don't want to miss an opportunity. Okay. At the time he answered the question, there were challenges in the marketplace, but the company was very strong, and there were opportunities for us to grow through perhaps acquisition or other ways. And what kept him up at night was he didn't want to miss that opportunity. So I say to you, you have an unbelievable opportunity here at Elizabethtown. Okay? You're at a fine institution to learn, not only in the classroom, but outside the classroom. My best friends in the world I met here, okay? You have the opportunity to learn, to engage, to build relationships, to build your confidence, okay? Take advantage of that. Take advantage of everything you have available to you here, okay? It's a wonderful opportunity that you have. I talk to prospective students all the time, and I tell them, if you select Elizabethtown, and you guys all have, okay, you haven't selected Elizabethtown for 4 years. You've selected it for a lifetime, okay? And so I thank you very much. Thank you, Doctor. I'm very excited to be here. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I wish you all the happiest of New Year, and I hope 2018 is your best.
Okay, so we have time for some questions from the audience. We have some questions.
We have a question. I was a business major. I concentrated in management and finance. I think you still have that. You may have a, do you have a major in finance today?
Same thing.
Same concentration? Okay, concentration.
And management.
Yep. And I'm amazed, by the way, when I come in here, we've got ticker tapes everywhere. In my investment class, okay, this is scary. We had to put our investment portfolio together. I had Dr. Trossel at the time. And we had to submit our trades. And he would take it, run it into a computer, and about a week later, we'd find out what was going on with that investment. Okay, you guys have it at your fingertips here. It's fantastic, but that's the way it was back then. Yes, sorry.
I read a statistic here one time when I was applying that 88% of the students here changed their major at least once over the 4 years. And I was wondering if you ever questioned if you were on the right path or if you were in the right major.
I did. I came in as a business major, and this is kind of funny. I think it is anyway. I did really well in calculus, okay, business calculus. And this is great. I thought I was going to go and be a math major, all right? So I went and took Calc 2. Now, I lived with a friend of mine, you remember Dwayne Snavely, math major, graduate from here. He told me, Calc 2, what are you doing? That's the hardest class in the entire math curriculum. I didn't do so well, so that was my brief stint with thinking about a different major. I came back to reality, and business was the place for me. Yes?
What are some ways to develop confidence outside of the classroom?
You don't have to answer this, but I'll say rhetorically, what are you good at? What do you like to do? Okay? Do you like to play music? Do you like to play sports? Do you like to act? There's tons of opportunities to practice things outside of the classroom. Okay, I wasn't an A+ student. Okay, I really liked other things, and I got really good at them, and I took some of the process, some of the confidence, some of the momentum of other things that I did, and I brought that into the classroom, okay, to help me. And it's going to be different for everybody. And I encourage you to follow and keep trying things, because you're not always going to find it. I also discover things that I like to do by just trying things, stepping in. Through my professional experiences over time, I mentioned earlier, I got involved in some of the nitty-gritty of things, like just working with different spreadsheets and doing calculations and building programs within Excel and Access to run, data calculations. And I never wanted to be a programmer, but I got interested in it, I got good at it, and now I don't have to utilize anybody else for some of those things. I can incorporate that into my the projects and the reports that I have to do. So I encourage you to follow the things that you like. Yes?
You said to do what you love. So my whole life, people have been telling me to do what I don't know, step out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more important.
I wouldn't say one's more important than the other. I'm not always able to do what I love to do. Sometimes situations dictate that you have to do what you don't love to do periodically. And that's okay. I always strive to do what I love to do. I don't think it's an either or. I think both is really what I would say to you. Find what you love to do, as much as you can. Reality is you may not always be able to do it at this given time. You know, maybe you can get to it later, all right? And by going down other paths, you may discover, okay? That's the advantage of going to do things that perhaps you wouldn't have thought you'd tackle, or it's a particular challenge that you don't particularly like. But during that process, it's a great opportunity to discover, and you might find some things that you really like or even love to do by following those paths too. So it's both. I hope that helps. Come on, no questions about the FA Cup or the English Premier League? Yes?
Whenever you're working on projects and business deals, do you ever have moments where you feel overstressed and overwhelmed, where your confidence just kind of gets tested? And if so, how do you cope with it?
If I have the opportunity, okay, to step away from that situation for a second, I try to step away. Go play soccer, go do something I love to do. I do play guitar, and I used to just go in my room, close the door, and just play. Have an electric guitar too, and sometimes I put it in the amp and just crank it, and just take me to another place, clear my head, and then re-engage. Okay, that'll happen often. Okay, I'd love to talk about confidence because it's important. I think it's an important piece as you move forward. You're not always going to feel confident. Okay, and that's why, you know, quite frankly, I carry letters like this around. Okay. Sometimes if I don't have the time to do those other things, I'll just stop for a second. I actually open this up, or I listen to Make My Bed, and I think about a different perspective. Okay? That was one of my opening comments to you, that my hope for you is to walk away, whether it's me or anybody else you listen to at these lecture series. Take away one idea, okay, that helps you think differently, different perspective. Okay? Stepping away gives you a different perspective to approach that challenge. Okay? Having a different perspective, understanding different perspectives, knowing that they exist, okay, is important. Okay? Look for those opportunities to understand that. Okay? You'll often hear diversity out there. Diversity is alternative perspectives. Understand them. Reach out to them. Try to understand them and incorporate them when you can and when it makes sense. So, does that help?
Absolutely.
Good.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I got a question for you.
Yes.
Would you, if it's not an imposition for you this morning, if you could just kind of connect for them how the difference between being confident and being overconfident, where it comes across as arrogance, and how you balance the two so that the arrogance is not offensive and turns somebody off, so that you can conduct the kind of business that you need to.
The question is, and I'll try to, tough to define. Let's go back to our definition of confidence. It's a feeling, it's a belief, okay? You've probably experienced individuals in your lifetime that appear to be overconfident, okay? And they come across in a way that is perhaps counterproductive, okay? You can see it happen, okay? So as you think about your own confidence, okay, think about what you're projecting to others, okay, and how you're projecting. Are people think of you or think of the message that you're delivering as, are you confident? Okay? You're not going to buy from me if you don't believe or feel like you can trust me, okay, or believe in what I'm talking about, okay? You've analyzed all the data, okay? The data's the same, but you've got a feeling that, and a confidence that I'm the right person to go with, okay? Overconfidence, oftentimes you can see through it. And you know, you've also heard, you know, trust your gut, okay? You know, you can see it. It's a tough one to answer. It's something you have to experience and recognize, and you'll see it, okay? But think about it in terms of your own confidence in doing things, and also think about, and this is the hard part, think about the image you project when you talk to people, when you go for interviews, when you're making a pitch or a project, okay? You're working on a team, you got a team project for a class assignment. You're on one of the sports teams and you're working with other team members. How do you project your confidence to them? Are you overconfident, or are you coming across in such a way that is engaging? Okay? I've dealt with people who are overconfident and I just shy away from them. I move the other direction. You want to be engaging with your confidence. It's the image you want to project. Okay? Yes?
Can you compare confidence and skills? So if you have confidence, does that mean you have skills, or are they separate or the same, or can you compare confidence and skills?
I wouldn't say I'd compare them. I would say skills often help you lead to confidence. So build your skill sets, okay? I talked about doing things you like, doing simple things, taking on challenges, building your skills, okay? The more skills I have, the example I gave, I built my skill set around our technology and our process, and I was able to articulate with great confidence what we were doing. If I didn't have that skill set, it would have been very difficult for me to project that confidence and make that pitch, make that sale, okay? So I wouldn't say it's either or. I think one leads to the other. And if you don't have, if you don't have the skill set and you're dealing with somebody who's talking with great confidence, hopefully they're not just, a great salesman with nothing behind them, okay? But you can often pick those out too, just by asking a few questions.
I think we have enough time for one more question. One more question.
Yes?
How did you enter the workforce from college? Did you get an internship, or did you have a contact and you just saw an opportunity?
It's a great question. The question is, how did you enter the workforce after you left college? Did you have a contact? Did you have an internship? Back in the day, we didn't have a lot of internships. Not nearly the opportunities that you have today. And that's one of the things I say to you. You've got great opportunities. I encourage you to take advantage of internships as much as you can. I did not have an internship opportunity. I did work throughout all of high school, but I did have a contact at a local bank in Newark, New Jersey. At the time, I went into banking right out of school. It's funny. Hopefully you're on or will be on. LinkedIn is a great tool, but it's not the only tool. The purpose behind LinkedIn is to build your network, okay? And the technology supports it, but the reality is, for you to build your network, you've got to put yourself out there. Okay? You've got to be confident and put yourself out there and engage. Okay? And you know, you've got a wonderful network right here in this room. You've got a wonderful network of alumni like myself, okay, that are passionate about Elizabethtown College and want to help, okay? And it's not a handout. Networking is not a handout. You're not going to, you know, build a relationship with someone like myself and, you know, I got a job for you at Voya, okay? You got to work at it, okay? And it's like any other kind of relationship that you build. You got to build a relationship. You got to work at it, okay? And how do you do that? Well, you engage. And, you know, hey, what do you like to do? What do you, you know, and put yourself out there and learn. Use it as an opportunity to learn. Most people that you approach, if you ask them to tell you about their business and how they, you know, became successful and how they moved on or how they built relationships or about their company, they'll be happy to share it with you, okay? Don't look for anything in return. It'll come, okay? The connections that I've had, and that was my first opportunity out of school. Since then, I've had a number of jobs within MetLife and within Voya, and just getting to Voya was through my network that I built up over the years, okay? And it's something you continually work at, okay? It's all about giving, okay? If you give, you will receive, okay? And that's a lesson in networking more than anything.